Welcome to Almanac North. I'm Mari Hewitt.
And I'm Brett Scott. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we're discussing renewable energy with Wolf River Electric Company.
Plus, we're catching up with Elsa Pearson, an aspiring professional vocalist who you'll remember from her Mesabi Symphony Orchestra performance.
That's all coming up, but first we begin this evening. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources is seeking volunteers for the Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network. Volunteers measure snowfall in their backyards using a 4-inch range gauge and submit data online. This critical information helps track precipitation and climate trends across the state. While volunteers are needed statewide, there's a particular need outside of the Twin Cities metro area. It's a great educational activity for families and weather enthusiasts. Minnesota has led the nation in volunteer recruitment, and they aim to keep that tradition going.
Essentia Health is celebrating the legacy of St. Mary's Medical Center through community donations as the demolition of the old hospital reaches its final phase. After moving to a new facility, Essentia donated supplies to local organizations and even to rural clinics in Ghana. Items like office furniture, medical equipment, and cleaning supplies have supported schools, fire stations, nonprofits, and more.
The St. Louis County Historical Society will host the Twin Ports Festival of History and the reopening of the Veterans Memorial Hall on Tuesday, April the 8th from 5 until 8:30 p.m. at the Depot. The event features a special presentation on WPA art in northern Minnesota by Brian and Sue Matuzak, along with exhibits of WPA-era artwork. At 6:30 p.m., a ribbon cutting will celebrate the restored Veterans Memorial Hall, highlighting stories and artifacts from local veterans.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is leading a coalition of 4 states in a lawsuit against the Trump administration and Citibank to protect federal funds for clean energy projects in Minnesota. The funds intended to support projects that reduce greenhouse gases were blocked by the EPA and Citibank despite being approved by Congress through the Inflation Reduction Act. Ellison argues the actions violate the law and constitutional guarantees. The lawsuit seeks to ensure the funds are released as required for Minnesota's green energy initiatives.
On this week's Making It Up North, our team sat down with Elsa Pearson to discuss what she thinks makes the performing arts so special.
My name is Elsa Pearson. I am a student at UMD. I am this semester graduating with a BA in music with a classical voice emphasis and a BFA in acting. I began my music endeavors by playing violin when I was in 5th grade and doing musical theater in elementary school and middle school. And then from that time to now, I have been doing choir, orchestra, opera, improv theater, and that all of those things have kind of led me onto a path of performing arts that I'm now pursuing professionally. So what inspired me to start singing, I was singing for fun all the time as a kid and in middle school. And one day, when I was in high school, I was auditioning for a musical. I think it was maybe Bye Bye Birdie. And my choir teacher was in the audition room and she asked, "Have you ever considered joining choir?" And I hadn't until then, so I tried joining choir and I found out that it really clicked with me, and that led me to start doing voice lessons in high school. And I loved that a lot. I continued doing them in college, and I met Rachel Inselman, my voice teacher, who welcomed me into her voice studio, and so did my musical theater voice teacher, Thomas Jacobson. Those are probably my 2 biggest influences in singing. They have guided me so much and turned me into the singer that I am. I heard about this competition through my voice teacher, Rachel Inselman. She has had students do this competition before and have had really great experiences with it. And so she encouraged me to enter it, and I did. And I thought it was a great opportunity to connect with other musicians in the northern Minnesota range. So the arias that I'm singing for this competition are 2 that I have had in my book for a while. I've used them for a couple other auditions and school performances. And for this competition, the practice process was really about finding new things to tweak about them, new ways to develop my artistic interpretation of them, my technique, my storytelling. It involved taking a deeper look at what the arias meant. The The first aria that I sang was Va laisse couler mes larmes from the opera Werther by Massenet. I see this aria as a very powerful and compelling piece. It starts with there's a little bit of orchestra, and then the singer breaks through with just a single note, and then holds a little bit of silence, and then continues with the words, "Go, let my tears flow," in French, and then continues with this somber, smooth rest of the aria. And it is so attention-grabbing, and it is just so raw. And so to me, that piece it's about like really letting that like cry through in the music. The other piece I chose because it contrasts it as Mani Implacabili from Così fan tutte by Mozart. That piece is, so it is about a woman learning that her lover who is lying is leaving her, and it is like a spiral of madness. She is lamenting, it's full of super quick thought changes, really bouncy composition, and so to me, there's a balance of finding the realness of that grief, that lament, but also the craziness and the comedy you can find within that real feeling in Mani Implacabili. So it's just it's like two different angles of sadness. Sometimes sadness can be light. Oh, I am just really excited for seeing the work happen in the room. There's something really euphoric about when all of the work that you've prepared for just manifests into that performance. And the feeling of exchanging that energy between the performers and the audience is absolutely unmatched. And it's what makes the performing arts so irreplaceable and special in this world. So that's always something that I look forward to.
Our guests this week come from Wolf River Electric, a solar panel company based out of Isanti, Minnesota. They're here to discuss clean, sustainable, renewable energy. Thank you all for joining us. We have Cynthia, we have Jake, and Justin this evening.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Tell us a little bit about Wolf River Electric and when you started.
So, Wolf River Electric, we started in 2014. It was just an idea at first that we would be able to help deliver, the green energy concept and mission to our customers while being able to save them money and ultimately making it a good financial decision, as well as one that was targeted on, green energy in general. So we started with LED lighting, worked with customers and predominantly business owners on helping them take advantage of the incentives and the rebates that were available for that type of technology. So we started with that and slowly worked our way into General Electrical and ultimately into solar.
Yeah, so why focus on clean, renewable energy?
Well, it's something that's meaningful to us as people we're all from Minnesota, and we care about the environment and we care about our customers. And so when you're able to ultimately help the environment, but then help people, it's just a no-brainer for us. There's nothing that we'd rather be in the business of than doing exactly that.
So you guys are through a handful of states, 5 states, correct?
Correct.
And how is the current state of renewable energy kind of throughout that Midwestern region?
It's like anything else. It's got its highs and lows, but for the customer, we want to cater everything to make sense for them, right? So anything that we need to do to make it make sense for that customer, we will cater that system, the designs, the needs, and make sure that it's handled, whether it's with the utilities or with the cities or the overall design itself with the engineers. So we want to make sure that it makes sense, and that's the only way it makes sense for us to move forward with the project. It doesn't always make sense for every single homeowner, and we cover that prior with them, obviously. And so we got to exclude that right away. But when it does make sense, we're gonna cater it to offset their bills completely, or put a little extra money in their pocket, and overall help their community as well.
So when you're talking to potential homeowners about installing these solar panels, what does that conversation look like? How are you like pitching solar for them?
Yeah. Well, Maria, we try to keep it very simple because there's so many things that are taboo topics and things that are confusing for customers when it comes to solar and to owning their energy, as we like to call it. We call it energy independence. So what we do is we come in, we look at their home, we look at their power needs, and then as Jake was saying, we try to come up with a custom solution to meet their energy needs and the needs of the home. And so we're able to do that through our AI designs to help the customer see exactly what it would look like on their home. We have different programs where we can help the customer get solar on their home and become completely energy independent, which what that means is we eliminate their bill and then we use the solar system to produce almost all of their power needs. And we can do it with no money out of pocket, and we can do it with, basically they just take whatever they're paying right now to Minnesota Power, Xcel, whatever it is, and they move that over to reallocating the funds to paying off a solar system. So we try to keep it super high level and easy for people to understand, you know, because most people don't really understand you can own your energy just like you own your home.
It's really interesting.
And we want to make sure that we just give out free information. I mean, this is a new, like you said, taboo, a new thing that people do not understand. So we want to give out free information to people, and we'll put a whole design together, what the panels would look like on their roof, how it would offset their current bills, and they can look at that and make a decision, no money at all, just from that. So it's a super useful way for us to just get information across to the customers, let them know what they could be doing, and we found that it makes a lot of sense.
So you mentioned a little bit about tailoring it to each residence or each household. How do you do that? What makes one residence different from another? Well,
first you got to look at the power need. Not every customer of ours has the same power need. Some people it's a one person living in a single family home, right? And sometimes there's people looking to power their pole barn, their entire property, and you know, there's different needs for both. So the first thing you look is the power need. Then you got to look at the shade, the pitch of the roof, and you know what direction that the south facing you know, sides of the roof or whatever is facing. And through all that, we have a tool that we use that designs to optimize the best output for a solar system depending on the homeowner's energy needs.
And this same system it'll gauge every month of the year. So obviously we have winters and snow and months of less sunshine. It'll gauge out a full year of what that kind of system can produce. So it's a really cool feature.
So we're good in the winter.
Yeah. We are good in the winter. I hope everyone needs to know that. Solar is good in the winter.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because we have the best net metering policy in the state of Minnesota, in the entire U.S., in the state of Minnesota. So like every time you overproduce, right, if we build a system to overproduce, right, because you have to get to those winter months off credits that the utility company gives you. But what's cool about Minnesota is if you overproduce in the summer, right, you are able to use those credits that are given to you from the utility in the wintertime. And if there's any left over, they write you a check and you are able to capitalize on the excess power that you produced, which is really cool. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah.
Wow. So Cynthia, you're, you know, managing all the policies across these different states. What are there incentives, state by state, grants? Tell us a little bit about your role and how you're helping with renewable energy.
That's great. Well, I am so excited because I get to work with our customers that are looking for that kind of incentive. So, you know, we work with a lot of rural businesses. We work with agricultural producers. The thing that it's important for people to know because it gets complicated is there's a number of different kinds of solar. So we fall into a category that's called distributed energy resource. And that includes, it can be wind energy and it can be rooftop solar, which includes commercial and agricultural. That's across the board, whether it's in any of the 5 states that we're in. There's also community solar, which is also distributed solar, but then we have utility scale and also some of the solar farms that many people, especially in this area, have seen in large tracts of land. So understanding where all of that goes is feeds into the different kind of policies that we have. Right now, we have a federal tax credit of 30% that is allocated to anybody who puts a solar system on their property and or roof, which is great. Minnesota is currently looking at that in addition, but it's a constantly changing landscape regardless of the, we work in North Dakota and South Dakota and in Iowa and Illinois and Wisconsin, Minnesota. So looking at counties, municipalities, different utilities in Minnesota, many people are not aware that we have over 170 municipal, cooperative, and investor-owned utilities. So working with understanding what your local policies are and your local opportunities are really important to navigate through the process. That is where we really work hard in making sure that our team is educated and that we can navigate and coach and handhold our customers through that process.
Yeah, tough for us, but for the customer,
We
super simple.
We really try to make it easy.
That's what you want. Crazy behind the scenes.
It is crazy behind the scenes.
Business in the front. What are some of those biggest misconceptions about solar energy, and what maybe would keep someone from doing it?
Number one, right, people think it's expensive. We have programs that actually offer the customer $0 out of pocket. And so what that means, Brian, is right now, you know, I'm sure you live close to here, right? Mm-hmm. You probably pay, what do you pay, $200 a month for your electric bill?
I do.
Yeah, so imagine.
If not more.
Sure, right? And so imagine right now that you are able to reallocate the $200 paying to your electrical company, right, for your electricity. All you would do is you'd get solar panels put on your home, they'd start producing power for ideally more than all of your needs. And all you do is take the $200 that you were paying towards your utility and reallocate that to paying out the system. It's beautiful because it actually raises the equity, it raises the value of your home through the equity of every payment that you make. And ultimately, you are just going from renting your power to owning your power, just like you own your home. And so that's kind of the biggest misconception, is that it is really expensive and people just don't want to put the money into it. The second biggest misconception is that solar is not for everybody. I will say this, solar is for everyone. It's not for every home, but it is for everybody. And so what we try to do is we try to come up with a way that we can help people become energy independent. If they can't qualify for certain programs, we help try to find alternative routes. And so that's the two biggest misconceptions that we see and that we want people to know.
Where do you guys hope to see renewable and sustainable energy, like the industry, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
I think one of the things I heard yesterday, which stuck with me, and it's a Chinese proverb that says, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. We have a state mandate that we are carbon free by 2040. So again, renewable energy comes in a variety of different forms, and that is negotiated and constantly discussed at the state level from a legislative standpoint. But we need to be thinking out from now, not just to 2040, but to 2060 and beyond, to make sure that we can handle the demands of an increasing electrification across the country. Mm-hmm. And we have a grid that really needs some help.
We could just keep going. We could talk about solar for an hour, couldn't we?
Yeah, sure.
We are out of time. Justin, Jake, and Cynthia, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you, guys.
Maria.
Thank you. Well, lace up your skates and grab your sticks. We're hitting the rink with Hockey Finder Minnesota, a unique hockey league that's built an impressive community here in the Northland.
Yeah, hi, my name's Don Giroux, and I'm the president and commissioner of the Hockey Finder League, but really the league is maintained by our volunteer division managers and captains.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Rudabush. I'm the division manager for a lot of the Duluth leagues in Hockey Finder.
Hockey Finder was founded in 2008. I had just moved to the Twin Cities, so I was looking for a place to play.
I was in the Peace Corps for 4 years. I was in El Salvador and came back in 2012, and as an adult, didn't have any friends, didn't have a social network, and I was just literally Googling adult hockey in Minnesota. I found Hockey Finder, and
I've been playing some women's league, and I was looking to play more hockey. I've played hockey my entire life too, and I just doing a quick Google search found Hockey Finder, and I said, what is that? And I saw I could sign up as an individual and then start to play, and I was like, well, that's perfect. It gives me an opportunity to play. Obviously I have friends here, but I was like, I can meet new people, I can play more regularly.
So the way it's structured is we start these divisions of our league in different areas. We'll pick a night of the week, and then skill level range, and then we'll find a division manager to help us maintain that division, keep things organized, that kind of stuff. So it's really them that help maintain the league.
So we like to switch our teams up every session. This is a great community, and people are here to meet people, make friends.
we certainly we want to grow and expand. We think we've kind of found a secret sauce of getting community engagement. There are, especially here in Duluth, there are so many kind of private pickup games that guys been playing for years and years, and
we kind of find that when you get to switch teams up, you get to meet more people. You get to play with everybody. It keeps growing your friend group. And we always say, different personalities, and we have to play with somebody at every point in time, and I think that's great, because a lot of times you have teams that play together forever, and you create cliques, and then you create drama, and there can be fights, but when you have to play with everybody all the time, you might say, oh, that guy on that other team, but next session you play with him, and you're like, actually, I love this guy, he's my best friend.
That's the coolest thing I think we offer with Hockey Finder, is we have folks in their 60s that have never skated a day in their life, and we have complete beginner leagues. And they get bit by the bug, and they just want to get out there and hit the ground running, or skating, I should say.
One of our staff members, he actually lives in Duluth now. He moved there.
I met my wife through Hockey Finder, and I think some of my fondest memories were early on when we had known each other for a couple of years prior to dating, and I just have some fond memories of when we finally connected and hanging out on the team. Getting together after the game with our friends, and Don has been, he was in my wedding party, my officiant in the wedding I played hockey with for 10 years.
Personally, I've been invited to at least 10 weddings of people who met through the Hockey Finder community, like playing together. So weddings, but more than that, just like lifelong friendships. We've had people playing together now for 15 years.
You won't be playing with players that are skating circles around you and that kind of thing. So, that's an area that we really do succeed in, is creating an environment for all players. So you could be a beginner, or you could be advanced, having played college. We have players that have played professionally in other divisions, and so we can find a home for everyone. And we certainly love to bring new players into the game and grow the game locally.
The hockey is bringing us together, but it's really the community that is what makes it so special, and the reason why I think we've grown to the size we are.
I've always felt like a bad Minnesotan because I've never played hockey.
Same.
But they said they take beginners. So
Let's do it.
they said some people are 60 and lacing
Yeah.
up their skates. So
Let's do
lifelong
it.
sport
We could be the
We can
Venture
start.
North next
of us learning.
year.
That's right.
And we'll be on the wild before you know it. Before we go, let's take a look at what you might be up to this weekend. There's a lot going on. On Saturday, March 22nd, a free community event is open to the public. Green Envy 2025 is back and ready to celebrate the arrival of spring at the Alcott Park Greenhouse. Attendees can look forward to a variety of delicious appetizers, festive music, door prizes, and a creative painting activity. The event runs from 1 to 4 p.m.
Also on Saturday, you can take a tour of the North House Folk School campus in Grand Marais, Minnesota. You'll learn about the rich folk school tradition from the blacksmith shop to the wood shop. There's something for everyone. The tour starts at 4 p.m. and meets at the Yellow Building. No registration is required and tours are free to attend. For more information, visit northshorevisitor.com.
And on Sunday, join the first of 5 community sharing circles at the Water Stop Info Shop on 2nd Avenue in Duluth. The Sharing Circle is a non-judgmental and supportive environment where participants take turns sharing what's on their hearts. The event starts at 1 p.m. and runs until 3 p.m. For those interested, more information can be found at emergentseals.org/waterstop. Interesting.
A lot going on.
I would need more than 2 hours to talk about what's going on with me. There's a lot.
You could maybe see if you could extend it.
I'll host the after
Yep.
event.
Yep.
Yeah.
But a lot to do on this first weekend of spring, so go
It's
out
spring.
and enjoy it.
We're feeling it.
Enjoy the sunshine. That's it for this week's show. Go out and enjoy your weekend. I'm Maria Hewitt.
And I'm Brett Scott. Thank you for joining us. Good night.